Hello and welcome back to the course on R programming. Now that we know everything about subsetting, let's try using subsetting to change what we're visualizing. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy some of the code that we used in the previous matplot tutorial. So let's take, for instance, this bit, because that's our visualization part, and we'll create a new file, and here we'll copy it over here. So what we're visualizing here is field goals divided by game. So let's simplify that and let's just visualize, let's say minutes played, right? And now if we run that, we will see our visualization here. So that's how many minutes the top 10 paid players have played over the past 10 years. Now, let's say we want to subset it. Let's say we don't want to see all of the players, we want to see just the top 10 players. How would we do that? Well, this is our data and we would just replace it, right? Here is our matrix. So let's just pull it out. Let's say, let's replace this with data, and here we'll have a variable for data. That way we can manipulate it easier. We'll call it data and we will say minutes played. And here we will say we just want the first to the third and all of the columns, right? So if I look at this, if I run this line now, and then if I just look at data by itself, that's what we're visualizing. So that's the new matrix that we're passing to these two lines. And what's going on there is it's been transposed. So it's been turned into that matrix. And then it's been visualized by this line. That's the matrix. And now we're going to put the legend. But once again, with the legend, we also want just the first three players, right? We don't want all of them. So here we need to say players 1, 2, 3, because that's a vector and we just want to extract the first three players. So if we run this line now, then we've got a legend here, which is good, right? So that's how many minutes each of the players has played. And once here Kobe Bryant was injured and here he was injured again. And probably that's also an injury. Usually on these charts, when you're not normalizing by the number of games they played, if you see like a drop like that, usually that represents some kind of injury. Okay, so that's the minutes played for the first three players, and that's an example of how we are using subsetting already in our analysis. Okay, let's say we don't want the first to the third players, but let's say we just want to visualize Kobe Bryant by himself, just Kobe Bryant. So we would say 1 here, and we would also say 1 over here. Right? So let's see how that works out. So that's our data. Now we're going to run matplot and all of a sudden there's a problem. What's the problem? Where is the problem coming from? Well, let's have a look at the data object. If you look here, you can see that it's no longer a matrix. It's actually a named vector. And why did that happen? Well, that's because of how subsetting works, something we talked about last time. What R is doing here is it's guessing what you want. It's saying that because you're extracting just a one-dimensional object from matrix, probably you want a vector, but we don't. We want a matrix because matplot requires a matrix. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use our little sneaky trick. We'll say drop equals false. And if we run this now, and we run matplot and legend, you can see that Kobe Bryant is his minutes played are being represented properly. So there you go. That's a live example of why it's important to know about subsetting. And it's also important to know how these square brackets work, what they return, and what exactly you want in a specific situation. In this situation, we wanted a matrix, so we used the drop equals F tool. And that brings us to the end of today's tutorial. I look forward to seeing you next time. And until then, happy coding.